sad to say it, but like if the money was right and the money was talking better, then I'd be like, yeah, okay, McCASKILL, like don't worry about Undisputed for a moment. Like I'm confident enough I can get the win, so I take the fight, but it's got to be financially beneficial as well.
Welcome to The Real Women of Boxing, episode 17, where women with working knowledge and experience of the fight game bring the latest interviews, news and reviews. I'm your host, Jacqui-Lee Pryce, and my co-host this week is the unified super lightweight champion of the world, Chantelle Cameron. How you doing, Shan?
I'm great, thanks, Jackie. Good to be on here finally. It's been a long time.
I know. Good to see your little face. You're looking well, looking all tanned and gorgeous.
I've been, went Greece, went Miami, and think I'm going Tenerife for training, not next week, the week after. Just waiting for the team to arrange it all and get over there.
Tenerife.
Can't beat training in the sun.
True, but there's that. I've been there. I've been on a training camp. I wasn't training. I went on a training camp with England years ago, and they've got. Is that where you're going to? That I forgot what they call it. And you run up the mountain.
I'm not too sure. Going with Jamie, like Jamie lives out there, so I'm not too sure where we go.
I think it's the same place, you know.
Oh, okay. I've never been. I went Tenerife when I was 16, but that was just like a holiday, so that was years ago.
Getting pissed up and that.
Absolutely smashed.
So no
training. Fuck it.
It's not there. So it's good to hear you that you're doing well. In the latest news, D. Allen moved to 3-0. There was a long-awaited debut of Tommy Fletcher, which resulted in a KO. Chantelle Cameron called out Jessica McCASKILL, but more on that later.
She called me out.
Okay.
I called her out. She called me out.
I like it.
I called her back out.
I like it. And Josh Taylor vacates his WBC title after, obviously, he vacated his WBA. So let's talk about Tommy Fletcher, the long-awaited debut.
Yeah, Tommy Fletcher. I'm looking forward to the rest of his journey taking off. What a talent. Skillful as well. Like he looks like he's got a bit of everything. But obviously it was his debut, so there's still got to have his acid test and everything. So I'm excited to watch him.
To be honest, right, I've watched him from the amateurs, and then I've obviously had the pleasure of watching him in the pros in the gym. And I am so glad, so glad they kept him back, because this kid is strong on both sides, isn't he?
Both left and right, yeah.
Gorgeous.
Heavy and power in both hands, so it's dangerous.
He is, I mean, I don't want to talk about sparring secrets, but he's putting some people away, I've heard. I've heard he's spanking a few faces.
Juicy.
Juicy, my darling. Yeah, I can't say, obviously, tell you later. But, you know, he's kind of gangly. I know as somebody that's 6'2" tall, and I think what he would really benefit from, and it will sound really weird, but it just felt to me a little bit like he hasn't got control of his hands and legs. Although he's got the strength, he hasn't got control of his hands and legs. If he did dance lessons or something to do with dance and got that coordination and everything packed tightly.
The thing is, I think as well, though, that can kind of play in his favour, because like, look at Lawrence Okoli. He's very long, quite awkward, a bit unorthodox. And he just looks like he's impossible to beat. He looks like the most frustratingest boxer to be with. When you get inside, he just ties you up. Then if he gets his range, he knocks you out because he's got the power. So as much as like he's got that reach and stuff, and he's a bit like dangly in there, I think that could play in his favour. Like knowing some boxers so awkward, it makes him so hard to beat.
It's true. I didn't even think of it that way, you know.
So it would drive you mad, wouldn't it? Like, how do you deal with that?
It's true. I mean, listen, I don't think I've been as excited for a cruiserweight. No disrespect to the ones that are around at the minute.
Yeah.
But he's somewhat decent, isn't he?
Do you know what? Cruiserweight division now is heating up. I think it's it's exciting, the cruiserweight division.
It is. My prediction, though, is going to get avoided.
To be fair, yeah, I think so. I think Nina Hughes may be avoided.
Yeah.
That's a different subject. I think Nina Hughes will end up getting avoided.
Yeah, possibly.
I used to spar in GB and stuff, and I just think she's a threat to a lot of people because she's game as fuck.
She's a little animal, isn't she?
She's so game, and she's skillful. Like, she's just a little pocket rocket.
Listen, we've needed some of that and more recently. I think what's happened is people are starting to go, oh, this is what we thought female boxing was. Oh, this is what it's like. Do you know what I'm saying? So you guys at the top end, it was like, yeah, okay, you're at the top end. But the levels below, it needed to kind of catch up, and I now think it's starting to fill up.
It's getting there, isn't it? Like, since a load of girls have turned over as well since the Olympics, starting to get a bit more juicier now. It's getting spicy.
It is. So let's talk about Stevie Levy, and she was in a super bantamweight contest against Marina Skarvova. This is, I think, a first A-side fight in the pro scene, to be fair.
She's been taking some challenges up. Who was her last? Was it Beck Connolly, her last fight?
No, Georgina.
That's it, yeah.
Georgina. Can't think of a surname.
It's quite a tough fight, wasn't it?
In my opinion, I think that was her best fight because her level really stepped up. Would you agree?
Yeah. I think she definitely like leveled up for that, and I think she's doing good again. Like, she's back on the roll, so good on her.
Yeah, I think she tried to put on a show, but her opponent Marina was not. At first, I thought it was a case of like she just wasn't engaging. I don't think she could.
Yeah, I think Stevie just looked like she was just on it, like she was there to win.
Yeah. The only slight criticism I'll have about her is her overall sort of, she needs to judge distance and her feet and balance. And I think, I'm going to be honest with you, she neglected her defences, but I don't think that was necessarily that she doesn't have them, because she showed that against Georgina, but it was almost like she dropped down a level. Does that make sense?
I think that's can be easily done sometimes. Like, if you have quite an awkward opponent, or I'm the worst for it sometimes, like sparring. Jamie and Nigel always like give me a bit of a bollocking because I can easily switch off. They had to remind me, like, just because your sparring partner may not be hard sparring or the best, like, I still got to stay switched on. Like, I'm still there to be hit, and I'm quite bad for that, is switching off and just like pissing about really when they're trying to say to me like, stay switched on. So that's why now I mainly spar the boys, because get switched off, I'm going to get nailed. It's a learning thing for me. Like, everyone's got to keep learning. I think Stevie will learn as well. Like, it's all about experience. And me, I'm always learning things like that, is how to stay switched on, how to keep improving, and just keep getting better. And I think that just comes down to making little adjustments.
You're right, and it also comes with having a mindset of wanting to better yourself, because some people take offence if you say like your basics are shit, but it's all about the basics.
Yeah. Tell you what, I go over my basics all the time. Like, I'm a basic fighter. I don't do nothing fancy. I don't try to do anything fancy, because I know basics are gonna win. When times get hard in that ring and you have to like bite down your gum shield, the only thing you've got is basics. If you try doing some fancy shit, you're gonna embarrass yourself probably, or you're gonna. It's true though, ain't it? Like, you're gonna embarrass yourself. So just stick to the basics. Basics are key. It's like Jamie says, 1, 2, and all that. 1, 2 down the pipe.
Hey, and talking about basics, flipping it, Jason Cunningham and what's his bloody name? Can't think of his name. Zolani Teti.
Fair play to Jason as well.
Do you know what? I'm going to be honest. I don't know why. I just had a feeling he was going to get beat.
Oh, really?
I had a feeling he was going to get beat, because that Tete is quality.
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't really know much about his opponent, but gutted for Jason. It's like, he's done so well as well, but I think he'll bounce back.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think he was almost reluctant, and he's got it in him, but he seemed reluctant to engage. But I think that was also because Tate was just setting little traps and testing him and poking. And
he was very clever. He had a very good boxing IQ.
Oh, quality. absolute quality. I'm going to be honest. And, you know, just the little things like, you know, his feet were gorgeous.
His feet, I could watch them all day. He was very good.
Oh, my God, delicious.
And you know what, I do love a boxer who has good footwork. It gets you out of trouble. Like, you got good feet, it can do so much for you. It gets you out of trouble, gets you inside quicker. Like, good feet can win a fight. Like a jab can win a fight. Good feet can win a fight. Gets you out of trouble, gets you stuck in, quick feet.
And do you know what? Do you know what was lovely to have a look at? And both of them, to be fair, had good feet. But what was gorgeous about it is, like you're saying about the basics, is literally it was effortless. His movement was effortless. His time and his distance, it was like he had almost a sixth sense of how far he just needed to move in order to move Jason around.
It was literally little movements as well. Little movements, it was just enough.
And he didn't even seem to get out of gear one. So when he put him down the first time, I think he drew him on and he stepped off and then threw a shot. But it was so...
I think it was accuracy.
100%.
Just relaxing accuracy.
100%. There was no kind of... And then he turned the screw just slightly. It wasn't even like some mad thing. But it was absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I mean, it was a great fight. Enjoyed it. I enjoyed it immensely. I was expecting it to be this chess match. And it
was a good display.
That fight was for the IBF International Super Bantamweight, the vacant WBA International, the Commonwealth Super Bantamweight title also. A lot on the line. And some people were saying, to be fair, it was a little bit too dangerous.
That's a lot on the line.
Someone didn't do their homework properly.
But sometimes you got to take them risks. But yeah, like you said, that was a gamble.
So, next on the list, Joe Joyce. Oh, my God. Nice to see Joe back.
It was very good to see Joe back. It's been a while, hasn't it? Was his last fight, was it Daniel Dubois, or has he had a fight since then?
No, he had a fight since Daniel Dubois. I can't remember who it was. It was Carlos Takam.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember that now. That's what I mean. It's been so long. I was hoping Joe Joyce was going to box Parker.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what went on there.
A bit of a shame.
Yeah, I don't know what... Well, I do know what went on there, but
It's just good to see Joe Joyce back out, though, but I'm looking forward to seeing him in some of them big fights again now.
100%.
Like, he boxed Daniel, and that was like... Oh, that was a great fight. I was very excited for that, and he done the job. And then since then, like, he's like been wanting the big fights, but he's not been getting them, has he? I think it's just because he's a threat. He's so fit and relentless, and the chin on him.
He's so hard to take out.
Okay, now he's like throwing bricks at his head.
Just to be fair, he's always been like that. He's been like that since an amateur. The only thing I will say, it was difficult for me to watch him against Carlos Takam. What were your thoughts about his fight against Christian Hammer?
I think he's improved. I think you're seeing improvements in him. And it was just, obviously he had ring rust as well, but it didn't really show that much. And it's just good to see him back out. Really like Joe.
He spent a lot of time out in the States, and it seems to have helped him a lot. I don't know what it is. Sometimes it's just putting those pieces together. I don't know if it's not. He's not one of these that likes the limelight.
Yeah. But I quite like that about him because he's not looking for either. He's undefeated. He doesn't look for the limelight, and he does the business. And like, he is exciting because he's such an hard bastard. So it's exciting to watch because you just know that he's going to be there and he's going to dish out as well. So I like watching him. I
do like watching him, but I just think it sometimes has an effect on his performance, the nerves. Do you know what I'm saying? If you could put him in a room and there's no one, just a tiny camera in the corner that he couldn't see. Do you know what I'm saying? But I like him. I like him, to be fair. So listen. First, before we get on to you, I just want to talk about myself and Louise spoke a little bit about the Journey women situation.
Yeah.
Looking at the Stevie Levy fight, what are your thoughts on the level of Journey woman that is currently not so much at your level, but at the lower levels?
I think, like, you don't want to be disrespectful, but at the same time, it's like professional boxing is for the fans. You got to put bums on seats. You want to look good, and of course you're looking for the stoppage, And I think the journeywomen, like, they are there to survive, and with 2 minute rounds, it can be quite difficult because most of them are very experienced in surviving. So they'll tuck up real tight, like make things a little bit messy. And yeah, I think it's what I said earlier about levels. Like when I first turned pro, it was journeywoman and then world level. Whereas it needs to like kind of meet, and there needs to be like a bit of a middle, and especially because women's boxing is growing massively. But and some of the journeywomen, they're taking absolute beatings, and they'll be back, and you see them back out again, and it's like bloody hell, like it's good you're active, but how much of that can you really take?
But taking into account some, let's look at the B side of your fights, right? I think you've had some of the toughest journey women. Do you know, I think they've gone, right, who can we get to smash up? She'll do. Do you know what I mean? I think you've taken, you've taken out some really, really tough girls. That, to be fair, I don't think you should have been fighting at. I'm not saying you couldn't do it. I just thought that give her an easy fight, for fuck's sake.
Do you know what the mad thing is? Is like when people look at my record, I think sometimes like people say about my record and stuff, but I think if you look at my record, like I've boxed tough people, like I boxed a lot of Mexicans, a lot of Argentinians, and they're tough. Like they're hard to get out. Like they literally they are so stubborn, and some of them are just like, oh god, they've been so tough. And I think my record, like my stoppages, I think I got 8 stoppages or something. But even some of them, I could have. If it some shows, the refs are a bit more jump in a bit quicker. But some of my shows, I've literally beat the girl from pillar to post, each 4 corners, and the ref's not jumped in. And I thought, bloody hell, like when are they going to jump in? Because she's not throwing back or nothing. So I think my record, there could have been a few more stoppages, especially if it's 3 minute. I'm saying 3 minute rounds again because I think 3 minute rounds would suit me a lot better. But yeah, I've had some really tough journeywomen and some tough women in general that just fucking take some proper licks at the end.
But going back to I disagree slightly with the level of journeywoman. I think at your level it's quality, and then I think sort of at the middle lower level. And actually, having thought about it, I don't think it's necessarily their fault. So looking who you fought versus who some of the other women have fought, I think there's a massive level difference, number one. And I'm going to use, for example, there was, in the men's, there was a guy that fought Michael Burke Jr., on Saturday. And he was an Olympian. So he'd fallen into doing, being a journeyman. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but he was a 2012 Olympian. Now, this guy,
yeah,
you knew he could fight, but he could also tuck up properly and give him a bit of a fight. Whereas I think with the women, they're not being taught the skill set of survival and also being able to open up a little bit. And does that make sense?
To throw back as well, not just cover up and try survive, like get stuck in as well. Like I said, it's boxing, it's a sport, and you want people to enjoy the fight, so you kind of got to take part. Like you're getting paid, so just bloody punch back. It's a fight.
But even when they punch back, some of them, it's almost like they're on the level of contender. Does that make sense? And I actually now don't think it's their fault.
Yeah.
I think it's actually the trainer's fault for not teaching them the skill set.
Basics as well. It's just basics. You're gonna get in the ring, like you need some kind of basics behind you. Quick paycheck.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, but boxing's a hard sport as it is. Like, if you're a coach and you're putting your fighter in there without a clue what they're doing, something's wrong.
So listen, let's get on to. I heard. Yeah, so I had a little bit of a psychic moment, right? And I said to Louise last week, wouldn't it be great? I think I know someone that'd be really good opponent for McCASKILL. And she said there was this whole thing on Twitter. So talk to me about that. What happened on Twitter?
So to be honest, it was my last fight. I was like, obviously, like we know the tournament and stuff, it's been a bit of a delay. So after my last fight, massive respect to Victoria Bustos, like great person, great boxer, got a lot of respect for her. But I said after the fight, like, let's not wait around for this tournament anymore. I'd like to box McCASKILL. because I think me and McCASKILL make a very good fight, and I respect her a lot. Like, she's tough and she's game, and I think our styles are just going to make a hell of a fight. It'll be a war, and that's what I want. Like, best versus the best. That's how it should be. And then she had her fight, and she did a little thing about call me and saying about back in 2018 that they was calling me out, but she forgets that I think it was a 3-0 novice. Don't know if she boxed Katie or just after she boxed Katie or something, but I was basically new to the game, and I was with my other team, and sorry, swipe up, and she was calling me out of it. Jacqui, I'll fight anyone. I was like, yeah, I wanted to fight. I was like, yeah, because I watched her against Katie, and I thought, bloody hell, she's good. Like, them fights excite me. But obviously, with the team I was with, it was too early in my career. They was building me. I was going through the rankings and stuff. So they was like, didn't want anything to do with it. But that was nothing to do with me. Like, if they asked me the question, do you want the fight? I'm like, yeah, go on, let's do it.
Listen, Chantelle, we all know. I don't even know why people pretend that. Listen, there's a timing for everything, and everyone who's in the game knows that. Do you know what I mean? So it's all about you getting the experience under your belt before you fight someone like that.
My team were just taking me with them. My team with them were just taking me through up the ladder. Really, like, I was climbing. I was new to the game. I was going for motion, but yeah, the fight never happened, and they weren't interested in the fight with McCASKILL at the time. But that wasn't me. Like, I was interested in that fight. So she rang that up, and I was like, yeah, that happened in 2018. My team weren't interested. There was nothing on the table at the time for that fight to make sense for my career, because obviously my career is my career. And anyway, she had the WBC belt at 140. I won my mandatory, so I was due to fight McCASKILL. Absolutely buzzing for it, thinking like, bloody hell, gonna fight McCASKILL finally, because I know that she's a good opponent, tough, hard, and everything. And obviously she got the Cecilia Brackhouse fight, so she vacated. But I only found that out on Instagram. Like, no one knew. I thought I was boxing McCASKILL. I was just waiting for the location, date, and everything. And then I found out on Twitter that she was fighting Brackhouse. I thought, what's going on with my fight then? And then turned out that the belt was vacant, and I boxed the Brazilian. I've forgotten. What's her name again?
I remember us having this conversation. It was on the table, and if I remember rightly, you weren't getting the information. Basically, you were being made to you were being pissed around.
So I didn't know what was happening. And Andriana, that's her name. So I boxed her, won the belt. Obviously, McCASKILL was doing her thing. I've been doing my thing. And at the moment, I want to fight McCASKILL. McCASKILL wants to fight me. But the only problem is she wants to box at 140, but she's undisputed at 147. Everybody knows I want to be undisputed. I'm in a tournament to become undisputed. It's not happened. So I think if we are to fight, she's got to bring something to me to put my belts on the line. Like, I don't think, why should I put my belts on the line when you're undisputed at 147? All I want to do is become undisputed, and I give you a shot on my belts, but you won't let me have a shot at yours. Kind of doesn't make sense. Whereas it could be a 2-fight deal. Could box her at 147 for her belts and then come down to 140. I think it's just got to make sense for both of us. Otherwise, I'll wait for Callie Vise, have the undisputed final with Callie Vise, or Jessica Kamara. What a good opponent she is as well. Like, McCaskill's not the be all and end all for me. Like, undisputed is the be all and end all for me. And if you want to put the belts up for undisputed, game on.
So she wants you to fight her for no belts whatsoever?
No, for my belts.
How is that helpful to your career?
That's what I mean. Like, the fight excites me. Like, that fight gets me up in the morning and puts a fire in my belly, because I know it's a hard fight and it's a tough, and it'll be grueling. So that fight really excites me. But for my career, you're not gambling anything either. I'm going to be gambling everything. Whereas I could wait and fight Callie for undisputed, which is what I want. So why would I rush unless it made sense financially for me? If it again, money talks. Financially, if it makes sense, then yeah.
It feels a little bit like trying to play a power game as well. You've got something, you've got plenty of belts. So first, before for the people that may not know, you were in a competition. The super lightweight undisputed championship, and you got through to the finals. And your opponent is supposed to be Kaylee Reese. Reese is out at the moment due to health problems. We wish her, a speedy recovery. So obviously you're looking for an alternative to keep you kind of going and whatever. But did Hearn, firstly, did he discuss at any time the situation with Reese? Did he sort of sit you down and say, listen, she's sick, we're going to have to look at another plan?
Unfortunately not. No. So obviously, luckily I got the Victoria Bustos fight because it kept me ticking over. Not disrespectfully, because it was a tough fight, and Victoria Bustos is a credible opponent. She's former world champion. She's very tricky. She's tough. Again, you can't get rid of her. If someone got rid of Bustos, I'll give them a massive round of applause because she is so tough. But it kind of like got me back in the ring, kept me active. Because otherwise, I'd still be waiting now to fight, because obviously Kelly's not very well, and I wish her all the best, and a speedy recovery. But same time as my career has to go on. So now it's kind of like, even now it's waiting for Kelly to see if she's going to get the go ahead or not. Otherwise, again, I'm going to take the fights that I want. And again, if McCaskill put her belts on the line, I'd go for that fight, because I wouldn't need to wait for Kelly, because there's belts, the undisputed's there as well. But obviously, I am in a tournament, and me and Kelly are due to fight. But it's kind of just waiting on Kelly. But me and my manager, like, I'm speaking to my manager, like, he rang me just a minute ago, I'm going to bring him back in a bit. Like, we're saying, like, we don't want to be waiting around again for months and months. So we need other options.
I think that's reasonable, for people to sit down and say, okay, listen, whilst maybe I'm waiting for this, I need to, for many reasons, to keep busy, to keep earning. These careers are short, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but they just are.
But yeah, they are. And like, you need to be boxing 2 or 3 times a year, and you need a reason to be in the boxing gym.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, you're never in an easy fight. You're never in an easy fight. So let's talk about this situation because I'm going to be honest, I find it a bit cheeky. To me, the only thing that you would benefit from, and I'm going to be totally honest, right? I don't know your financial situation, but the only thing you would benefit from it at this point in time is finance. And if you're in a financial situation, I think it was Natasha Jonas, we were talking about different things, that some people have to take fights because they're in a tough financial situation. I'm assuming you're not, so you can sit tight.
I think it's like a power thing, but like, at the end of the day, I'm not going to be an idiot. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, go on then, just because I really want the fight, and the fight is good for the fans, and I want to show people what I can do, and I think I've got the beating off her. But at the same time, is what's best for my career. I'm not going to be bending over because they're asking for it. Like, I want to do what's best for my career, and if nothing's going to be put on the line to benefit me, then the fight won't happen.
How important is it now? We've seen with Serrano, she stepped out. She sat on the stool for a while, didn't she? She sat on the bench and said, I tell you what, you either have my skills and you pay for them, or you don't. It's up to you.
I think that's kind of where, like, it's kind of inspired me, because now I'm like, yeah, the same. Like, I kind of, like, without being arrogant, because I don't want to be arrogant, but at the same time, it's like, I am going to do what's best for me, and I'm not going to be a yes woman anymore. So I'm like...
And do you know what I like? What I like about this is you will, as you've been inspired by Amanda Serrano, you will now inspire other people, because I think it's quite... People get scared. I'm a nightmare. I'll say no to stuff just like because I'm just... I'll rather sit out.
Yeah, like, that's the same. Like, that's what I said to my manager, is if I have to sit out, I'll sit out, but I'm not going to be mugged off. Like, sad to say it, but like, if the money was right and the money was talking better, then I'd be like, yeah, okay, McCaskill, like, don't worry about undisputed for a moment. Like, I'm confident enough I can get the win, so I take the fight, but it's got to be financially beneficial as well. Like, I've got to be winning somewhere. Like, I'm not gonna be an idiot over it.
To be a win-win situation for all parties. You are an exciting fighter, and people want to see you fight. So it doesn't matter how much silliness is going on in the background, negotiation. That's really, listen, that's not your job. The job is like just saying, yes, I will accept these terms and this money, or no?
100%. It's got to be fair. It has to be fair. It has to be fair for everyone.
The fight is so easy to make. I want a ringside seat. So yeah, effectively, we're leaving it, shall we say, in Team McCaskill's hands. So what would you like to say to Miss McCaskill or Team McCaskill about getting this fight on? What would you like? What message would you like to send to her?
Let's make this fight, but let's make it fair. Let's make it fair for both parties, and let's get it on. We both want to fight, and it's got to be fair. Like, otherwise, I have other options.
Hey, listen, it's got to happen.
And McCaskill has other options. I think they want the KTV match, and again, that will be a great fight. But she's going to focus on her career and do what's best for her career, and I'm going to do what's best for my career. So if we both want the fight enough, it will be made fair so that the fight happens. Otherwise, it's all talk.
As a fan, I would like to see this. So yeah, let's make it happen, Team McCaskill.
All the belts, every belt there is, put it on the line.
What?
Let's just not go for my 3 belts. Let's put everything on the line.
Yes. I like the way you're thinking. So how many belts is that?
She's cool. She's like that. They're hanging off her. I'm saying, let's whack all the belts on the line and let's make this fight happen.
I like the way you're thinking. And you might as well just put all the belts, like you say, mega fight.
That's what I mean. It's fair then. Like, let's not go for my 3 belts. It's only 3. Let's put every single belt on the line.
Mega fight, Madison Square Gardens.
Yeah, great fight, tough. And she's a dangerous fighter, and I want that dangerous fight, but it's also got to make sense. And let's make it fair by, let's both put something on the table for this fight.
You heard it here first.
That's what I mean. Look it. Let's go. Call me. Drop us a DM.
So if you like our discussion, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you'll know when we drop new content. Before you go, I just want to ask you your thoughts on Rankin versus Tasha Jonas, or would you rather see her fight Terry Harper?
Tasha versus Hannah Rankin. I think Tasha deserves that fight as well. I think Tasha's been in some she's been in some cracking female fights, and do you know what? I'd love to see Hannah Rankin versus Tasha Jonas. Terry Harper as well, that would be a good fight, yeah, but I just think Tasha and Hannah makes more sense. Tasha won her belt, and look how she won it. Hannah's defended her belt. Just Tasha versus Hannah, 100%.
Let's hope. I mean, we're a little bit biased, but let's hope that happens. And Lauren Pryce has entered, obviously, the welterweight division as well. What do you think of Miss Lauren Pryce?
As her fight, and I'm looking forward to her future as well.
Do you like her style? I would have thought you like a bit of that tear up style.
Yeah, she's from kickboxing as well, so she's got the good footwork as well, isn't she? I think when you're kickboxing and you transition into the boxing, I think you do kind of have that good footwork because of the kickboxing.
Coming up this week on Saturday the 9th of July on the Chisora Povetkin undercard, Felix Cash, Kevin Ajarko and Ramla Ali are some of the names on that card. And over in the States, Rashida Ellis will take on Alberto Palmetta in a welterweight competition. Thank you so much for giving us your time, and I will see you soon, darling.